Ruby, Ruby, Ruby. Can anybody hear me? Ruby, Ruby, Ruby. Let me know if anybody can hear me. What's going on here? Possibly all the feedback. You forget it. Hello everybody. How are you? Hope everything is well. Let me know how it's going. Excuse me. Let me know if the sound is good or not. Once again, I'm doing another sound setup. And yeah. All right. Thanks for joining the stream. Last minute stream. A little late. I'm just curious to see. It's a little late, so we're gonna lose half the audience, I guess. But that's okay. We'll get them another day. Welcome to stream. Thanks for showing up, by the way. So we're gonna do I'll just answer a few questions. I figure it popped on. Answer a few questions. I had a few questions put to me offline, so I thought I would answer them here. Okay, cool. So, a man stares into the abyss. Can anybody guess what movie I was just watching? More shorts, please. Love your shorts. Yeah, I plan on putting out more shorts. That seaweed has nothing to do with nothing on the stuff in Florida. Yeah, apparently the Florida seaweed is pretty crazy. Avatar: A Way of the Water. Nope. Please, Karim says, please talk about tech jobs. Are the market down? No. People will get laid off because I've talked about this several times. Whenever you see a slew of layoffs that we're seeing now, that's because we had a big explosion of jobs prior to that. So whenever you have a boom in jobs, there's a lot of jobs that are created that shouldn't have been created in the first place. So people get laid off when things start to slow down. That's normal. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Yeah, the market's not like crazy, cuckoo caca crazy like it was a couple years ago, a year ago. But it's not down. There's lots of jobs available if you know how to code, if you're professional, if you know how to search for jobs and apply for jobs properly. You may have to work a little bit harder, but I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Just make yourself better. Ruby hype, yeah. I gave my Ruby strategy in the last video. So somebody had pointed out from a live where they were beginners and they got a job as Ruby developers and having no experience because though there are not a lot of Ruby jobs out there, there are very few people learning Ruby now. So you may find some opportunity to get that first job, which is the hardest job to get in Ruby. So yeah, let me know if this background music is bothering you or not. I don't know, you tell me. Yep, we can hear you coming through loud and clear. Good. Hey, Uncle Steph. I just started freelancing. It's kind of overwhelming when it comes to getting clients, designing websites while not being a designer and doing good work for clients. Any advice? Yeah, use templates. That's one thing you could do. Use templates. Maybe if you start getting more and more clients, partner with somebody who can just do the design aspect of it for you and just price it in. That's one thing you do. Let's see, what else do we got here? Will AI replace developers? No. It's just going to shift what we do in terms of what the developers do on a day-to-day basis. I talked about that. Watch any of my videos on ChatGPT. I talk about this at length, giving you my thinking and reasoning. It's based on experience why I know developers are not going to be replaced anytime soon by AI. AI will be assistive tools, tools that will help you in the process of development, but it's certainly not going to replace developers. There's no chance of that. Long before developer jobs are made obsolete, so many other jobs like accounting and bookkeepers, so many jobs, white-collar jobs, writers, reporters to a great extent, at least the talking head reporters, you know. The reporters are now going to have to go out and do things, like actually go out there and gather news and so on. Yeah, real reporters will be around for a while, but not talking head people. Do you have any suggestions for graduating comp-sci student looking for a graduating comp-sci student looking to break into the field, but am unsure about what type of coding you want to get into? Again, you should check out my videos on how to get your first job as a developer. That's going to help you out there a lot. ETFs versus mutual funds for investing in index funds or investing in anything generally. Just look at the fees, you know. They're just two different avenues oftentimes to do the same type of investing. The key is to be in index funds that are not managed, and the fees are very, very, very low. Not managed. You don't want them trying to pick stocks. You pay extra for that, and they don't perform well, typically. So just buy mutual fund index funds or ETF index funds. You know, just ask the banks that are selling the mutual funds. The thing about ETFs, you can just move in and out of them pretty quickly. You don't need to talk to anybody. It's pretty easy. I think that's the advantage. But talk to your bank. I don't know, maybe your laws where you happen to live in the world, there might be some advantage to mutual fund investment. I am not so sure about that. Developers are finished. No. Fear is a dream killer. So true. It is. I've seen people paralyzed with fear, and they don't make moves because of all these ideas they have in their head about what could happen. You know, I might fail. But if you never go anywhere, if you never try, that means you never go anywhere, which means you will stay that you fear where you find yourself if you fail. You know what I mean? So let's say you want to get that job as a developer, but you're too afraid to apply, you're too afraid to learn, so you never do it. You're still there. You're not a developer. But let's say you try and you fail and you don't have the job. You know, it's where you started off at, but at least you've had the experience of failing, which is going to teach you a lot. So yeah, fear is. I tell people this, I regret nothing I've done, even all my failures, but I do regret everything I did not try. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Will AI replace management? No, it's just going to streamline a lot of jobs. It's going to make things much, much, much quicker. So you might reduce a lot of bloat, but you still need managers because the proper managers have to think about bunch of disparate things. There's high-level decision-making to be made. I don't think anybody's going to want an AI making decisions for people. That said, I can see managers leveraging AI to get answers quickly. How many actual applications, i.e. access databases to display info interactive, do I need to apply before applying to my first job? I have one only now. How many actual applications? Do I need to listen, try with one. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Make sure your resume is up to date. Start applying. As you're applying, look for other things to build, real things. The key thing is not to go in there with projects that you you picked up or copied online. You have to show prospective employers that you're doing something real, something that has application, you know? Hold on a second, I'm going to check something here which I don't like. What's going on here with this thing? Okay, so this thing is putting out too much. Slow down. Let's try that. So I'm just fine-tuning my audio here. How's this? Is this better? All right, that's better. Yeah. So there you go. So let me go down. Can ChatGPT make less experienced developers more hireable? Well, only if the less experienced developers use ChatGPT to help them speed up their learning and make them better coders over time. But I'm not sure where you're getting at in that regard. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So anyway, let's see. Hold on. Why is the loop back out? I'm getting some. Wow, I've got to tweak my audio here. This thing is. What's going on here? Hold on a second. Reducing the gain. All right, does that help at all? All right. Okay, that's better. Sorry, I'm just tweaking my audio so it sounds better. That's bad. All right. So what's the next one? Hey, Steph. Hey, Steph, I've learned PHP SQL and I'm building out a web app, but now I have heard API can do the same thing but more secure. You gotta, guys, when you write me sentences, I don't need to have ChatGPT to try and decipher what you're saying. Please reread them. I'm not sure what you're saying. Hey Steph, I have learned PHP SQL. I'm building out a web app, but now I have heard API can do the same. Oh, you've heard that an API can do the same more secure. Now you got to learn the basics so you understand what's going on behind the scenes. So then when you do leverage tools, APIs, or I don't know about an API, but when you leverage tools that automate processes, you understand what's going on behind the scene. You cannot lose by learning things. Don't worry about that. What do you think about this? Am I still good to go? Yeah, keep going with PHP. That's the thing. It's so easy to get in and out with ETFs. Exactly. So I would just, unless there's some tax option that's beneficial with using a mutual fund, I would just go with an ETF personally. That's just me. I have been learning JavaScript for 5 months now. I want to learn React next. Do you think I'm spending time wisely if I want to get a junior position with JS? JS 95%, HTML, CS 5% currently. Well, yeah, what you got to do now is anyway, go look at my videos on how to get a job, your first job. That will give you the answers of what you need. You don't want to spend too much time in academic pursuits, you know. I asked ChatGPT which film best relates to the phrase "fears the dream killer," and it said "Pursuit of Happiness." Actually, that's where that is. That's where that comes from. But I was watching another movie. I just inserted "dream killer," but that's a pretty good, Captain Tuttle. I think he said that. Yeah, I started my path of self-learning to become front-end developer and focusing on learning HTML, CSS, and Next.js framework. I don't know if I'm ready to apply for a job. Well, when you're comfortable building front ends. Hey man, hey Jeannie, how are you? Let me know if the sound is clear or if it's a little rough. My meters are telling me the sound is giving me trouble, so I'm going to pull the gain down a bit. See how this goes. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hello. That's weird. Anyway. Okay, so let's go on. Do you give Java lessons? No, I give JavaScript, Python, and PHP lessons. I'm a senior dev being asked to lead some junior devs, but they don't take critique suggestions well, and I think they know it all. Have any suggestion how to get better reception from junior devs? Yeah, well, you can never force somebody, but you can tell them, you could try to explain to them that you're trying to make their lives easier and you're trying to make it so that they can advance more quickly in their job. And since you've been working there, you have a pretty good idea of what it is they need to do to advance in their job. So that's one thing I would do. I would also take a look at my Lizard Wizard course. That will help you with social dynamics and so on. Look at the links below. Do you recommend hiring a financial advisor for investing and running businesses or doing your own research? By the way, do you have an advisor for long-term decision making? Do you recommend hiring a financial advisor for investing and running a business? Well, you don't need a financial advisor is not a business person, so they wouldn't be able to help you with your business. You have to talk to business people, number one. In terms of investing, again, they're just going to want to sell you their products and mutual funds. The basic rules of investing apply. I teach that in my mentoring program. You want to be highly diversified. You got a dollar cost average because you can never pick the right entry point. You want to largely be invested in index funds because you don't want to have to worry about tracking companies and figuring out what management is good. Maybe put at most 5-10% of your investable cash in individual company picks and only invest in things that you know really, really well. That's the basic rules. The only place a financial advisor might be able to help you is in terms of taxes. When you got money going in, how you can invest your money to save on taxes. That's where it is. But in terms of picking investments, just index funds. I use Vanguard. It's the cheapest out there in terms of the fees. So that's what I would use. Respects from India. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, by the way. All right. Answer a few more questions, and then I'll do my book of the day and so on. I'm in my second year of college, and seeing a chatbot do my homework in seconds is demotivating. Will I still be relevant in the job market when I graduate? I can't even imagine what AI can achieve. You got to understand, coding is just part of the process in coding development, by the way. So just use ChatGPT to learn how to code more effectively. Don't be too concerned about it. I've talked about this many times. Watch my videos on ChatGPT and you'll get the answers to all those questions. So you'll be okay. I turned down a 40% raise last year when things were hot because I was a little scared and liked my team. Unlikely to see that again these days. Well, you'll see it again in the future for sure. You know, so that's a big pay raise to refuse there, buddy. Dev man, yeah, if you're good, you'll get other opportunities. Don't worry about it. Another movie quote. I never really knew how far away I was from my goal than when I was standing right next to it. It's from Gattaca, 1997. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was just watching Dune, where they say fear is the mind killer. Fear is the mind killer. Yeah, the audio is a bit distorted. Tell me if it's a bit distorted now. I turned down the gain. I tried a number of configurations, so let me know if it's a bit distorted or not. Okay? Yeah, let me jack it down a little bit more. Hold on. All right, so now we got some clearance. We got some clearance, Clarence. All right, so it seems to be okay now. Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments, guys, if the audio is not distorted or not. Yeah, hopefully it's not distorted now. Let me know. He is learning the terminal. Bash important is learning the terminal important when it comes to coding. Should I ever bother? Just learn the basic commands. Depends on the type of coding. Depends on what you do. You may use it all the time, or you may use it once in a while. So I would just learn the basics of it. Just basics. Just do a little course on basic Linux commands, and you'll be fine. Didn't expect a YouTube live from you at this time. Me neither. I figured I'd just try it out, you know. Yeah, I appreciate giving the thumbs, by the way. It's good for the Google algorithms. Yes. Hold on. Why do you believe masters in data science is better than cybersecurity masters? Well, I think, did I say that? I think I said an AI, which I think it leads to data science. Yeah, because, I don't know, I think there's just a broader appeal and broader opportunities with the data science and the AI. Yes, that's the beauty of index funds. Set it and forget it. Yeah, dollar cost averaging is huge. Dollar cost averaging is huge because dollar cost averaging, you don't know, it's an investment strategy if it's sound. Every 3 months or every month, whatever it is, you put money in the market, whether the market's up, whether it's down, you put market, because it's impossible to consistently time the market when the market's going to go up or down. I have lost tons of money by not investing because I was waiting to time something, hoping, oh, I'm going to catch it at this when it's really low, and then I'm going to buy, and then it will go up. This dollar cost average, over time, it averages out, and you make up a lot of money. That's it, and that means there's less stress or no stress, really. That means there's no guesswork. That means there's no work. You just, as Mohammed Baki says, that's the beauty of index funds. Set it and forget it. That's it. It's pretty simple. Yeah, let me know, guys, in the comments if I'm distorting it all in the audio. Let me know if there's any distortion in the audio. I just running the mic through a new processor, so it may distort stuff. Hold on. Good morning. Can I learn C# and Python at the same time? I suppose you could. I'm currently learning Python 100 Days of Code in Udemy, and now I'm in web development with Flask. Is it okay to learn C# as well? Well, I would just get it done. I like to say if you're halfway nowhere, if you're halfway there, you're nowhere. So finish your Python. I recommend my course, by the way, and then move on to the next thing. Yesterday, I don't know if you remember, but I asked something about 401k. I just researched today and found out you can invest without these retirement schemes. Okay, so there you go. Howdy, Paul. How are you, man? Hope everything is well. Will AI make it much harder for a person to land his first developer job in 2023? No. We are talking about a person who has basic HTML, CSS, Java, Spring, Hibernate, SQL, algorithms, Git. Go watch my videos on how to get your first job as a developer. Those lessons still apply, whether it's AI or not. Although I highly recommend you start working with ChatGPT. I feel like I'm more in control when I'm not limiting myself to these retirement plans. Yeah, I hear you. Just invest as much as you can. Steph just ended CSS core. I know I can learn everything. I know I can't learn everything. I think I just might have to just dive into a project and learn to search W3 schools to go forward. Yeah, you can't learn everything. You can't learn everything. You know, there's this illusion that you can learn everything and then you're going to get a job and that's it. It doesn't work that way. You got to learn enough to start building things, and then you really learn. That's how I teach people, and that's how it works quickest. Hey, Theos, how are you, man? Cheers. Welcome to the stream. Hope everything is well. Okay, thanks for the answer on the sound. Let me know, guys, if the sound is clear and smooth. Generally, which one is paying more, cybersecurity or data science? I would guess data science, but you can't learn the programming language to become a data scientist, right? You got to become a data scientist, and it's got to be something you like. I would just do job searching, man. Do job searches, see what the demand is. How much do we have to spend per day coding and learning to code? Minimum 20 minutes a day, and maximum 3 to 4 hours a day. Take days off too. How old are you, Stefan? I told you, 169 years old. I go, Steph, you being bilingual, would you use the same approach to learning a second language as you were learning to code? Yeah, it works. It works. I learned when I was a kid, so it was pretty easy for me. Well, it was pretty easy. It's just kind of ingrained. But yeah, learning is learning. And a little bit every day, especially with written languages, with spoken languages, human languages, it's good to write it out. It will help solidify the rules because you're stimulating other senses in the body. So yeah, that works. I'm good, Animish. I hope you are good too. Yeah, dollar cost averaging is a king. Okay, how to expand our network. I have been active in the local dev and startup communities, talking to devs from mid to large companies. Is there anything else you suggest I can do to get noticed? Yeah, build up your Monsieur Aniket Mishra. I would build up your LinkedIn profile. I would get on Twitter, join a Discord. Join my Discord below, link below. We have over 3,500 members. You can start networking with people there. Okay, cool. Audio is better. Good. I fixed that. I have a choice between attending NYU Masters.
I didn't understand.
These digital assistants. I have a choice. Let me try that again. I have a choice between attending NYU Masters in cybersecurity. It will cost me $40K, or get a master's from a less known public college in data science for $20K. Which university should I choose? Whoa. Well, I don't like university debt because that's very evil debt. I don't think the school makes too much of a difference in the tech field. Google has said that if you're going to get into coding and don't go to university, I would lean for the much cheaper approach. First thing what you do, check out the job opportunities in cybersecurity. How many are there? What are the requirements? How much do they pay? Do the same thing for the data science. Requirements, opportunity, how much do they pay? You can go research this on Indeed.com. Call up some companies. Find out where your opportunities lie. Check the job market. Do you think there is a place for front-end developers whose primary skill is D3.js? It's very niche, D3.js. There's plenty of work for developers, front-end, back-end, full stack. But it's not about the library, man. It's not about the library, typically. It's about the skill set. If you're a skilled developer who knows front-end well in programming, you can use any JS library. You just pick it up, Is a higher typing speed beneficial for a long-term career in programming? No. Short answer is no. With advanced IDEs, especially AI-driven IDEs, the answer is no. And second of all, you will just learn to type more quickly with practice. So it's not a prerequisite. I wouldn't go crazy on that. It's a tertiary skill at best. Yeah, that is for sure. So let me get a sip here. So I'm going to do my album of the day. It's one of the best albums of all time. Recommend. Beatles Abbey Road. So this is the vinyl. You can get it on, of course, all the streaming services, etc. And so I highly recommend the Beatles Abbey Road. Album of the day, great album. So what's next? All right, books. I do my books. So here's a book. Pretty cool book, very entertaining read. 48 Laws of Power. Recommend that you take a look at that as well. That will help you advance in your career. It will help you understand how humans think. Very good book. 48 Laws of Power. All right. It's not all tech here. So if you are a intermediate level developer and you want to up your game, I would get the refactoring book. There's one for Java, links below, and there's one for JavaScript. But the principles and the techniques you learn here are universal across all the languages. So I highly recommend this book. This is the Java one. They have a JavaScript one. This is not for beginners. This is for people who are beginner intermediates. Get this book if you want to up your game. Finally, you can still get it on Amazon. If you're a total beginner and you like to read, you may want to check out my book I wrote on web design. I wrote this years ago, but everything I teach in here is 100% applicable today because the web pretty much stabilized couple of years before I wrote this book. So all kinds of diagrams. I break down everything. I show you how to write your HTML and CSS, build responsive sites. You learn CSS. If you like lots of diagrams. So this is a pretty popular book. You can still get them secondhand for cheap. I would recommend that if you like reading. My courses, though, if you're interested, are much more comprehensive. Much more comprehensive. Is a higher typing okay? Hey sir, I'm currently learning Angular. Is this good career choice? Angular is going to be used for very large corporations. It's very large corporations, Angular. So you have to decide if you want to go work for very large corporations. That is the key to Angular. Which means you have to have a degree typically, or it's much more easy to get a job in a large corporation if you do have a degree. So you have to get that degree. Yeah. How to manage being overwhelmed as a beginner. Take it one day at a time, man. 20 minutes a day, minimum. Take days off, take breaks. So if you have one of those days where you're like, it's too much, just do your 20 minutes and you've done your work for today. As long as you just keep the ball moving forward. That's the key. Uncle Steph, do you have any hobbies? Just curious. Yes, I do. So, one of the things, I like video and camera work. That's why I get the best blurry hand game in town, the bokeh game. So I like doing video work and camera work. It's fun. I like working with audio. I'm still, I'm not exactly an expert at audio. So I'm still working on that. So I like doing that. So I buy mics and cameras and I do that. I'm also an audiophile as well. So you look behind me. Right here. This is a speaker. So I do that. But I've had a lot of hobbies over the years. I switch off depending on. I did martial arts for decades. And now I'm doing yoga. I'm looking to perfect my body mechanic and movement just for health purposes. I study psychology in university. I still like to keep up to date on what's going on there. I guess you can call that a hobby. Okay. I have all three books, plus I have a design patterns book. Hey, very cool. Good selection. All right. Did you find them good, man? Mr. Untimed Purpose. What do you think of the books? Let me know. Would data visualization in front-end development be good niche to focus on? It's very niche. I would focus on being a good coder developer and maybe learn one or two libraries, but it's very, very specialized, right? You're limiting yourself in terms of your opportunities. Those type of libraries will be used in the context of a larger business. They'll be working on some product. And they may say, okay, we need to visualize some data here. Go learn D3JS, But, again, go look at the job opportunity as well. I haven't looked in terms of that. So my guess, though, it is very niche. Do you think GPT will squeeze out the entry level? No, it will not. It's so cool going through your CSS course. Every time you break down and simply a complex concept, it feels relieving getting closer to that job. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you like the material. Yeah. I put a lot of. Do you love the AirPods Max? I have them. I use them quite a bit. Because they're convenient. The sound is pretty good. This noise cancellation is pretty good. It's just the convenience with pairing with my iPhone, etc. It makes it easy. So they're good. They're a good product. I think they're a good product. I use them a lot. So they were worth the money for sure. Uncle Steph, do you watch like Star Trek? If so, what's your favorite episode character? I used to watch a ton of Star Trek. I haven't watched the latest shows because I haven't heard good things about them, like the Picard series and so on. But I haven't watched them personally. But I've watched all the other Star Treks, all the movies, all the series, the original. The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. There was another couple of series. I watched them all. I like them. Which one's my favorite? I don't know. Each one has their charm, you know. I think my favorite Star Trek is the series is probably Deep Space Nine because there's a lot more variety there. I found there's a lot more variety. Yeah. Thoughts on Bruce Lee? Okay, so I guess everybody knows who Bruce Lee is. So thoughts on now. I did a lot of not a decent amount of JKD. JKD is Jeet Kune Do, which is Bruce Lee's martial art. And I did a few seminars with Dan Inosanto. He's the guy he was Bruce Lee's top student, and he took over JKD. He took over Bruce Lee's style. He took it over when Bruce Lee died. So I've done some JKD. Yeah, Bruce Lee was very, very good at what he did. He was ahead of the game in many respects because he was like the a mixed martial artist, if you will, in the sense that he realized that you had to learn different styles and mix them together, and then modify what you did according to your body. So yeah, Bruce Lee was very influential on me. He taught me that, and I used to have his Tao of Jeet Kune Do, his book. I think I still have it actually. So yeah, I like Bruce Lee. Yeah, he's very cool. Died really young, that guy. I'm interested in embedded systems, IoT, and robotics. My plan is to start with ARM assembly and then learn C++. Am I doing it right or not? Well, yes, key is writing code. I don't know how you're doing it, but yeah, if you want to get into IoT and robotics, just start writing code. Start working with IoT devices and robotics. Write the code and get stuff going on. Yes, I have a computer science degree. Okay, very cool. How can we make sure how much progress we need in Python when learning it fully? Make sure before we use it in job. Yeah, I think you're saying how do you know whether or not you're good enough to be, well, you just build things with Python. You got to build things. When you learn, this is, I'll just tell how I train people in the mentoring program, my boot camp. They learn the basics. They learn HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, PHP, Python, SQL. And while they're learning all these things, they're writing tons of code, they're building responsive websites, they're building games, they're building real things. And they also have 57 projects beyond that, which they build. When they get out of that, when they get through that, they're very comfortable writing code. They don't ask that question because they built a whole bunch of things, so with help, but they built a bunch of things. Once they've done that, then they do the certification exams to make sure they understand the content. When people pass my certifications exams, which are randomized quizzes and code challenges, it's sure, once you pass the exam, it's sure that you know the subject of the exam. Then I have people build a portfolio website, and then we critique that, make sure the code is clean, everything is cool. Then we have people go out and do jobs, do some little freelance jobs here and there, building real things that are functional. So I think when you have enough of a knowledge of Java that you understand Python, you understand the language, you understand how to write classes, and you understand all the basic constructs of the language, you understand you've used some of the modules in Python, then you're ready to go out there and start building things. Again, the misconception with people learning code, they think they have to learn everything to start coding. It doesn't work that way. You learn a certain key set of fundamentals, then you start writing code. That's how it works. What do you think about real estate compared to ETFs? And thanks for your previous answers. Real estate requires work. That's the problem with real estate. It requires work. I own real estate. We own buildings, and sometimes the buildings could be fantastic. You have no work, and we have a management company, and sometimes you have real estate and it's tons of work and expenses. So yeah, you can make a greater return with real estate if you properly acquire proper buildings and so forth. but it could be a lot more work than just buying index funds. So it depends on what you want to do. Personally, but I'm biased, I'm not a huge fan of real estate, personally. I own properties, but I'm not a huge fan. How to avoid fear. There's all these exercises you can do. So what you should do is look in the link below. I have a course called Lizard Wizard, which teaches you the operating systems of your brain, and it's going to help you with your fear, not in a big way. Whenever we talk about programming, we talk about web development. Why? Because that's what I do. I've done a bunch of other programming, but most of my development work is development, although I've done thick client apps and I've worked with different languages and do command line. But also, the second reason why I talk about development, web development most of the time, because that's where most of the jobs are. But again, development is kind of development. Once you learn how to write code, you learn how to build systems, everything you learn and say, web development can be transferred over to other specializations, you know? So it's a question of being a developer. And if you're once you're a good developer, they'll often jumping around. They'll specialize in something, but they'll often jump around from doing this type of development to that type, and then they'll go back here, depending on the type of business you work for. You say don't go looking for code to write. How do you balance out with writing enough code to thoroughly understand concepts? How do you know when you understand enough to begin learning frameworks? When I say don't go looking for code to write, I'm talking about when you're actually a professional developer and you're building projects out. That's where you leverage libraries and you look to see what else is out there. But when you're learning, you got to write code a little every day. When you're ready to go into frameworks is when you understand the basics of the languages behind the frameworks very well. Again, my courses does that for you. You pass my courses, you know you're ready to go into frameworks. Are iPhones truly more secure than Android? I don't know. I haven't done an analysis. I feel like I'm always on the edge getting into Apple products, but the solidity of hardware on the Android and Windows side of the spectrum holds me back. I've used all of them. I just like the Apple ecosystem. I just wanted to greet you, Stefan. I watched CPPCon 2022 about C++ 23 features, and it scares me because it will produce more sophisticated errors by newcomers in C++, deducing this CRTP, etc. Very good. As a working software engineer, how much free time do you have on average per day for hobbies? What are some of your favorite hobbies? How do you balance being a software engineer and influencer? Well, I don't write the code anymore. I have people who write the code for me. I'm also, I'm much older, so I'm kind of past the heavy duty coding days. If I was writing tons of code today, I don't think I would have much work to be doing videos. Videos are my hobby. Doing YouTube and all this was a hobby. Doing videos was a hobby. It just grew. I had no expectations. So how much time you have as a developer depends on your particular career. Do I need to learn OOP concepts before jumping into React.js? Yeah, you got to learn OOP for sure. Hey, Randy, how are you, man? Hope everything is well. Welcome to the stream. What are your favorite ways to use ChatGPT as a developer? Well, it depends on what level you are. You can use it to help you figure out things. If you have problems, maybe debug some code for you, introduce you to some new concepts. Is your course a full stack development? Yes. Mine, if I asking how many modules are there in Python? Oh, the Python course, well, you can go look it up, what is taught in the Python course. All my courses are standalone, but they're also designed to kind of work together. So I don't reteach things in one course that I I don't reteach. For example, I'll teach certain things in JavaScript. I won't teach those things, except for the fundamentals, in Python. So, for example, I teach CRUD operations with PHP, but I don't teach that in Python because I don't want to get into teaching Django and Flask installs and stuff like that. As a programmer, you must know how to bot YouTube, correct? How to bot YouTube. I never looked into it. I guess I could if I wanted to. People who only invest in real estate are debt lovers. I'm not that guy. It feels scary. I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to be overly leveraged, especially these days. I wouldn't do that. You can get caught. Those annoying Python bots with the Telegram scams. Oh yeah. I don't, for me, it's transparency and writing for and building for real people is what I've done. I've never tried to game systems because you always get caught in the end. Hey, Sergeant, how are you, man? Long time. All right, so I have a couple questions I'm going to answer, but people ask me offline. Hold on a second. I got my notes. Okay. So people wanted to ask me about consulting with me. So very quickly, a lot of people who have joined my mentoring group are just there to consult with me because we have bi-weekly live coaching sessions, live Zoom, and I answer people's questions. That's one way you can get to consulting with me. I may actually set up some paid consults. It depends on my time. I have people asking me all the time. So if you don't want to join the mentoring program and you just want to, you have one question or two or three, you just have one consult you need to do with me, might be better. But if you want me in your back pocket as somebody you can reach out to, then the mentoring program makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, so you said, somebody asked earlier, how do you deal with fear? So you can check out my Lizard Wizard course, but here's a simple one. Look up the Buddhist death meditation. The Buddhist death meditation, where you basically go into, you meditate about your own death. And why do I suggest that? Because it's very psychologically empowering when you do that meditation. I learned a long time ago from this author named Becker, and he believed that all our fears are actually just derivatives of our fear of dying. So if you can deal with your fear of dying, you can help mitigate for all your other fears, So that's what that's my suggestion. I'm trying to learn MVC concept and applying it to OOP, but it's more difficult than I thought, laugh out loud. Yeah, well, if you're comfortable with OOP, I have a video. I think I put out a video on YouTube. You check it out on MVC, where I kind of give you an outline of how it works. You may want to get into that. One way to learn MVC is just to learn a framework, learn a web framework. MVC is something called a design pattern. It's probably one of the most used, and it's the basis of most application development. And what it does is splits up an application to 3 logical components. So you have code for all the screens, the views. You have code for all the business logic, data access. That's the model. And then you have code that controls the brokers, the exchange between all your model code and all your view code. And that's the controller code. One thing to know about MVC, the point is to keep things separate so it's easy to understand and it's easy to organize complex apps. That's number one. Allows you, because it organizes things, allows you to hand out work to individuals. So you can have people do just the view work, and people just do the model work, and people just do the controller work. So it's a way to organize a group of people, a group of coders. And finally, if you build it properly, you can recycle your view code and recycle your model code to a certain extent within the same app or in other applications. Controller code is usually stuff that you toss out. So I hope that helps. How to get my first web dev job without experience? Well, go watch my videos on how to get your first web dev job. I've covered it many times. How are we doing? Oh, we're almost an hour in, so we're going to be wrapping things up. Solution code at final. When I turn back, I might lose some of the things I learned. That's okay. How do we stay consistent? And sometimes I don't finish a project the same day. It makes take a few days. That's fine. As long as you finish it. The key is finishing it. And the more projects you finish, the more quickly, the better a coder you're going to become, and the more quickly you'll be able to finish other projects. Steph, how long did it take you to record and upload the lessons on the website? Months. With my editor, the foundation courses, I think it was 8 months, believe it or not. But they're very comprehensive. See, most courses out there are just videos, and that's fine, but videos is like having a stool, a chair with one leg. What I've discovered working with schools over a decade is that for a course to be really effective, you need 3 things in a course. You need short, easy to understand videos. You need extensive quizzing after every single lesson. Not every 6 lessons, not one giant question after 10 lessons. That doesn't work. It has to be quizzing after every single lesson. And that includes theoretical questions and code challenges. And the third thing that you need for an effective course is interactivity and instant feedback. That's what Studioweb does. That's what makes it unique in the platform. So that's why it took so long. Like, I did a word count, actually, on just the first 3 Studioweb courses. In terms of the quizzing component, there's as much words in the quizzing as I have words in this book. This book has like 25,000 words, 27,000 words, something like that. The quizzing in Studioweb, just the first 3 courses, have as many words as this book. So it gives you an idea of how much work and how much there is in the quizzing. Nobody comes close. That's why the material is very effective, because you have these 3 elements that make the courses work. Thanks for advice to find unpopular ways to land a dev job. Ruby on Rails. So far, only Ruby on Rails FTG I've met says no Junes, please. I don't know what FTG is. I guess no Junes mean no juniors. I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by the sentence, UN. Please rewrite. Should one refuse to work on weekends, holidays as a software engineer if the boss wants you to do it wants you to in a small company? Well, it depends. Are they going to pay you extra? Are you getting benefits? Was that agreed upon in the beginning? How badly you need the job? You know? What is your philosophy of life? Oh, I have many philosophies. I am a Stoic. So that means I try not to let things bother me. I'm pragmatic, utilitarian as well. I could do a video on that. But at the end of the day, you got to enjoy life. You got to be mindful of the future. You don't want to wake up at 50 and 60 years old broke and alone. But at the same time, you also have to live life, because you never know what can happen in life. And so I have a friend who's has got terminal cancer apparently at 42. So you never know. So you got to find that balance between being a total party animal and wasting your future, and being somebody who doesn't live life for today because you don't know how long your life will last. At the end of the day, we're all dead, right? Well, end of the century, hope. So enjoy life and take it day by day. But have plans. And try not to let things bother you, because we tend to let ourselves be bothered by things that have no consequence. How do you recover from burnout? Well, first thing, if you don't want to get to burnout, that's the first thing. So you pace yourself. So the next thing is you got to start meditating, exercising, eating well. Take a break from the code. Take a break from whatever it is that burnt you out. You know. Hi, Stefan. Thanks for the advice to find unpopular ways to land a dev job. Offered Ruby on Rails. So far, only Ruby on Rails FTG I've met says no June needed, seniors only. So far, the only Ruby on Rails FTG I met, I don't know what FTG is. No Junes needed, seniors only, improving Ruby on Rails jokes consistency. Okay, how do you kick imposter syndrome? Writing code and building things. How do you deal with imposter syndrome? Do you think it's worth being a realtor in Canada? I don't know, man. That's something you have to look into. Talk to realtors. I know it's a cutthroat job, but if you can establish yourself. All right, guys, I've done an hour. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And yeah, cheers. I'll end off with my ASMR boat video for you guys.